Hey, we're live. It's Kim Pollock with another episode of Steps to Seasonal Wellness. Today I'm going to be talking about sleep and tips and helps for getting a good night of sleep. And if you've tuned in before, you know that this is a show where we're talking about wellness in general, self-care tips. And I would love to hear from you. Go to delicatahouse@gmail.com or DM me here or on Instagram if you have ideas of things that you'd like to learn more about or discuss here on our show. So today we're talking about sleep. I know that I struggle with sleep and I'm working on it. I'm working on getting better, and I am getting better with having more healthy nights of sleep. But I know a lot of people that struggle in this area, and you might be one of them. And if you have babies, your young children, obviously you're probably not getting a good night of sleep. Like my daughter, up till she was 2.5, she was waking me up like 2 to 5 times a night. And it was crazy. So I was just like a walking zombie. But if you don't have young children to care for, it could be other things. It could be hormonal. It could be stress levels. It could be you need a new mattress or a new pillow. There could be a lot of different things going on, but I know some things that are just practical ways that you can adapt, and you can try these habits and see, or try these tips and see if they can become habits for you. The first thing, we all know that screens and sleep don't go well together. So 2 hours, at least 2 hours before bedtime, you need to shut off your phone and your tablet and your computer and do something else. So I know it's hard, and if you're in a habit, it's a bad habit. If you're in a habit of just like watching stuff up to the last possible minute, and then shutting the lights off, and then you wonder why you're, wired but tired, you need to turn the screens off and do some other things. So it might feel like a bit of a withdrawal for a while if you're really in a habit of doing it, but you can change. We can all get better at this because our health demands a good night of sleep. And if you have health issues, it could be because you're not sleeping well. And screens, the lights from screens can mess with your melatonin levels. They can mess with your circadian rhythms. They can, which can then, not sleeping well can lead to depression and obesity and diabetes and a lot of health issues. So I will link on my blog, lifeofkim.com. I'm going to post, with today's info that we're talking about, and I will link to a few articles that you can read about sleep. And so when I'm referencing something, I didn't just get it out of my head. So this was a Harvard article that I read about, especially about blue light, which are on screens, and how they can really mess with your melatonin. And so turn your screens off and do something else. I want to recommend getting into a gentle yoga practice before bed. It could be an easy 5 or 10 minute practice. If you already know yoga, if you've been practicing for a while, then you may already have a nightly routine. But if you don't, there are so many ways to jump into yoga, not jump literally. But I recommend Yoga Glow, or it's called glow.com now. And, you might do this earlier in the evening. But they have all kinds of practices for all different levels, and I love it. I use my Yoga Glow app on my phone every single day. They have meditations, and they have yoga for every level and all kinds, really gentle stuff where you're just like laying down with a bunch of like bolsters and pillows and stuff, or just like gentle stretching. So nighttime is not the time to like do some, power yoga. That's not the time to do that. It's time to like stretch out and relax. So try a yoga practice. What about journaling? I don't know how many of you journal, but for me, taking a little time to go over, kind of review the day, what happened, what went well, what didn't go well, what kind of things did I learn? That's really helpful, especially if you are a sensitive person. Highly sensitive people tend to need more time to process things, and so that may be you. So if you can take a little time to journal, nighttime is great for that, to go over the day. And then, yes, spend some time thinking about some things you're grateful for. It could be 3 to 5 things that you write down. You might have a separate gratitude journal, or you might just incorporate that into your regular journal. But think about, even if you had a bad day, there might be a few things that went well that day, and there has to be something, maybe it was, I really like the taste of the spring water that I bought today, or, I love that cup of tea that I had after lunch, or whatever. And then go over tomorrow's schedule briefly, kind of just like look and see like what do I have? Do I have a doctor's appointment? Do I have to meet with my daughter's teacher at school? What kind of things do I need to be prepared for? Just so that you're, you are prepared before you go to bed. You're not like worrying, what do I have to do? You kind of already know. And I love bullet journaling. I recommend a bullet journal. I'll link to the bullet journal method. And it's a way to like kind of put your whole life into one book, one journal, and you can use all kinds of different journals, and you can adapt it to you to fit you and your needs and your style. It is amazing. This is my 4th year of bullet journaling, and I love it, and I'm never letting it go. So I'll maybe do a separate episode on bullet journaling because it's just so great. Do something you love. So this is the time you turn your screens off. Maybe pick up your guitar or your ukulele or practice your piano. If you're an adult, you can still take music lessons. You don't have to stop learning just because you're an adult. And I took piano lessons a few years ago. I was going through divorce, and it was very therapeutic to just work through a piece. I'm a beginner at piano. I can play by ear, but reading music I'm terrible at. But still, the challenge of it, and just it was relaxing to just like go through and play my piece that I knew I had to play for my piano teacher the next week. So an instrument, or maybe watercolor painting, or Alan likes to take a walk outside when it's the moon is out. He loves to go outside and take a walk, and that may be something that you enjoy too. So find some things that you love that are that have nothing to do with screens, and do that. It'll relax you, make you happy, bring some joy into your evening. And also another thing that I have started and I recommend is meditation or breath work before bed. It could be for a couple of minutes, it could be for a half an hour, but start a practice where you sit comfortably, you close your eyes, and you breathe. And if you need guided meditation, I recommend Calm or Headspace are great apps for that. If you can stand the voices of the people, they're great apps, but I probably because I'm musical, I sometimes cannot stand certain voices. So those apps didn't work for me, but I have found some on glow.com that work. Some people that I really enjoy listening to and having guided meditation. And also, I recommend, if you're really like kind of anxious and keyed up before bed, or at any time really, but alternate nostril breathing. You might not have ever heard of it, or you might be an expert at it. I'm just a beginner. Sounds strange if you haven't heard of it, but it's just like breathing in, in and out one side, and then switching. And I think the focus of doing that, like, your brain is like focusing on, wait, which nostril am I breathing out of? What am I? It just calms you down because you're just focused on your next breath. And I did that for 5 or 10 minutes the other night when I was feeling like and it totally, at the end of it, I'm like, okay, I'm relaxed. I can turn the lights off now. It was really simple. So I'll link to that, lifeofkim.com. I'll link to that today as well, to an article so you can read about that if you're not familiar with it. Have a cup of herbal tea. Yes. If you haven't given up coffee at night and you're an anxious, jittery person and you struggle with sleep, you need to say goodnight to coffee. And, maybe you have a cup in the morning. I have I'm down to only 1/4 regular in the morning. So I have like a cup and it's like 3/4 decaf. And, but at night I just found Ticino roasted dandelion herbal tea. And it is like, it has that roasty depth that you want in coffee, but it doesn't give you heartburn, and it's gluten-free, and there's no caffeine in it. And the one I have is has coconut and like orange and fig, and it's amazing. So I can still feel like I'm having coffee even though I'm not. And also something like lemon balm tea or kava tea. Some of the brands that I like are traditional medicinals and yogi. And also if you like valerian, then valerian root is wonderful for sleep. I don't like the smell of it, so I don't drink valerian tea. But if you do, or if you can take it, then please do try it, because it's supposed to be amazing for calming you down and helping you to get a good night's sleep. And we already talked about lights, but dim the lights in your room. Have a lamp that has low lighting, or maybe orange or yellow lighting, and make sure you don't have bright LED lights like clocks and things that are, and chargers that are shining when you turn the lights out, because that will mess with your system, and your brain will think, wait, is it still daytime? What's happening? So if you can have a completely dark room, do, but if you can't, then have like a very low, nightlight or something that's like a golden, or I think they said red in the article that I'm going to link to for you. Take a bath. So if you might already have a nightly bath ritual, but if you don't, you might give that a try and, have an herbal bath soak, like Epsom bath salts, or, with some herbs and essential oils, or a bath oil. I will put a recipe in the blog for, like essential oils with oil, like jojoba or sunflower or sesame. Make sure that you are very careful getting in and out of the tub when you have, if you have any kind of oil in there, so you don't slip. You might want to put like a little hand towel down on the floor of the tub when you're getting in and out. So just be safe. And I do have in my Etsy shop, I have 2 bath soaks that are available. One's lavender and one is chamomile, calendula, and lavender. So if you want something ready-made, you might check out, just go to Delicata House on Etsy and check out my bath soaks. Use a diffuser in your room. If you don't already have one, I highly recommend getting an aromatherapy diffuser. You just add some distilled water and you put your drops of essential oils in there, and you can turn it on for 1 hour to like 6 hours, I think. I usually do 1 to 3, and you can just set it and it goes, and then it shuts off on its own. And it's really helpful to have at night when you're trying to calm down and stay asleep. So lavender, obviously, you've heard it a million times. Use some lavender. There are other essential oils that are also calming, such as Roman chamomile or frankincense, black spruce, cypress, mandarin. So give those a try. I will, in a minute, I'll give you a couple recipes. And massage your feet before bed. That's my last tip. So get a little sesame oil in a little, put it in a bottle, squirt some into your hand, put a couple drops of lavender, and rub it together. Kind of get it nice and warm. You can also heat the oil, like in a, like your jar, heat it up in a cup of warm water. But I find it's hot enough, like unless my hands are really cold in the winter, but most of the time my hands are warm enough. And then just massage the soles of your feet. And it is super relaxing. And I love to do it. And when I do it, I definitely feel more relaxed than when I don't. If you don't like the idea of, doing it yourself, and you like the idea of, messing with oil, I have a lavender sleep balm in my shop as well, in my Etsy shop. And you can just take some, it has shea butter, and I think it's coconut oil. I don't have it right in front of me, but you can just, rub it into the soles of your feet. You can also rub the back of your neck and your temples, your wrists. So if you have someone that can rub some into your back, you can do that. These are definitely some ways to relax you and calm you down. And start with the screens, because if you know if you're on your phone up to the last minute before you go to bed. And I did that once last week. I was staying up to get some work done. I was down here on my computer, and then I went upstairs and I'm like, I can't sleep. And it was most of the night I was just tossing and turning. So not much fun. Okay, diffuser blends for bedtime. The first one, it's 2 drops of sandalwood, 3 drops of lavender, and 1 drop of black spruce. And the second blend is 2 drops sandalwood, 2 drops of lavender, 1 drop of black spruce, and 2 drops of mandarin. I will put these on lifeofkim.com, and you can subscribe there, and you'll get all my posts. Also, I'll just post it on our Facebook page here. And if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. You can DM me here on Instagram or email me at delicatahouse@gmail.com. Okay, until next week, have a great week and be well. Bye.